Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Respect Coin. No, we didn't get to an episode on Friday. That's on me. Hand up. I was traveling for a wedding, so a little logistics, but we're back, and this is, in fact, episode lucky number 7. 7 episodes in the books. Made some money along the way, so thank you to everyone who's liked, subscribed, tapped in, sent me texts. I really do appreciate it. It's been so much fun. I have some fun news that I can share hopefully sometime soon about this very podcast, but it's a Monday. It's a special episode because we have 2 games tonight. The Bears are playing on Monday Night Football. Take that for what you will. And the Bulls are also playing on the road as part of extra games coming off of the NBA Cup. So, a lot to cover. Let's get right into it. The good, the bad, and the ugly from last week. So the good, let's start as we always do with the good. Our Bulls same game parlay cashed again. Seeing the board pretty well with this Bulls team. I mean, I am there all the time, so definitely happy to see that continue. I posted on my Instagram a little slip, got some responses of people that tailed. Those plays definitely hit. But it was an interesting week because I had to sign up for Hard Rock Bet, which is a pretty brutal app, to be honest, but that's the only thing that you can use in Florida. And shout out to B, shout out to my brother. He hooked it up with the little invite code, got each other both some $50 free bets. But yeah, I mean, I started off pretty hot in Florida. I put this parlay in, or the last parlay in from the Bulls on Hard Rock, turned a $200 deposit into $500 that Friday. So that was a really good part of the weekend. Really good place to start. The bad, I gave a decent amount of it back by betting Army and the under in the Army-Navy game. That was very stupid. I think now the under has hit 17 out of the last 19 matchups. But I was certain that Army was going to roll them, and I felt like this was an opportunity to kind of double up. And, when you try and do that on things that you don't usually bet, they end up losses. So another good lesson, just because you have money in your account does not mean you have to bet it and try and double up or triple up, whatever it is. I definitely encourage people to obviously bet within their means, but also just bet on things that you're very certain or you watch often or you feel good about. I kind of was just my brother and I were sitting at the bar. Like, let's just bet Army Navy. We both were on Army. He really kind of liked the over if we teased it down. The problem, too, is we teased the total to like 45 and it still went over. It didn't matter. I mean, really bad reads all around. Probably should have just left it alone. But what are you going to do? First Saturday in a long time where there wasn't any real meaningful college football except my boy West Wilson. His alma mater, Montana State, continues to make me money. They have since I met him. They are moving on in the FCS playoffs and look like they got a shot to win it all. So stay tuned there. That might come up in a few weeks if they continue. And the ugly, just to put a bow on it, I don't know if you guys noticed this. Like I noticed it because for the first time in a while, I was not at home on a Sunday. So watching Sunday Ticket at a bar before our flight, and I was tapping into Red Zone at the airport on my phone, and I noticed that NFL Red Zone had actual ads during the broadcast. That kind of blew my mind because, like, Scott Hansen and the whole 7 hours of commercial-free football is, like, everything, especially to sports bettors, especially to fantasy football players. Now, I work in TV. I've worked in production. I understand that there's a lot of real estate to be sold within that show, but come on. It's like the one sacred thing we had left, right? Like, and I know they strategically put the ads when, the teams were discussing reviews or it was downtime no matter what. But one of the things that makes Red Zone so special is like, I don't care to see them talk about if they're going to review or not. Just send us to another game. There's got to be other stuff happening. So in a way, I would say the producers of NFL Red Zone do not respect coin because they're just showing us ads instead of showing us more ball. So really tough. And an actual ugly is, I mentioned earlier, throwing in bets, trying to make money, obviously. Hard Rock bet does work in Illinois. I just found that out because I did have a little bit of money left after the NFL slate yesterday. But very ugly. I was one Cameron Dicker field goal away from hitting a 17-1 field goal parlay. The Chargers just didn't really have it. I mean, the Bucs were really good yesterday. I mean, they look really solid, and they're going to get more healthy. So I feel like they always kind of sneak in and make a little noise. They obviously played the Lions last year in the playoffs. So one field goal away from 17-1. And then I was one tush push away from 29-1, 2-touchdown parlay. I had Josh Allen, who obviously scored 2, had Jalen Hurts, who only had the 1. But that could have been a really fun way to hop on my flight and watch that resolve. I mean, I think there was opportunity, obviously, for the Eagles to put up more, but the whole talk for Eagles was the passing game, and I really felt like they were just going to stick with the status quo. But they showed some stuff, and I'll get a little bit into that later when I'm talking about who disrespected and who respected coin. But overall, not a bad weekend, not a bad week. Did get some wins, do have some money in the account to mess around with tonight. Quick story time. This is a little different than normal, but I talked a little bit about the transition from leaving a city and going to another city where, sports betting is not widely legal. I am very thankful for whoever is operating the Hard Rock Bet app because it did allow me to scratch my itch over the weekend and get some bets in. But was in town primarily for a wedding, and it's really funny to be an adult now, moving around the world, going to events, going to whatever, and just kind of seeing, like, is that person a degenerate like me? Like, I wonder who's got a parlay in for this. Is anybody watching the game on their phone? I did not do that. I promise to God, I don't think I would ever hear the end of it if that was the case. So I'm putting that on the line. I did not watch any games from inside this wedding because truly one of the more insanely beautiful wedding venues I've ever been to. But the groom, who is an awesome dude, one of the coolest guys I've met in a while, he talked about parlays in his vows. And, like, for me, that's too on the nose for me. I mean, I just met this guy, so, like, maybe it is on the nose for him too. But, I think that I would hear about it a little bit if I made that a thing. But it was very subtle. It was really cute, actually. And what he referenced was a 12-team parlay. So my guess, and I don't know this for sure, is the man's putting in parlays pretty often. And I respect that. And I respect that he wanted to say that to everyone. So I saw the groom's party. They got a kick out of it. And I didn't know where it was going from there. I got a chance to talk to him a little bit about some bets. We talked a little bit about Vegas, but we're getting ready to sit down for dinner. And one of the groomsmen just comes over to him right at the table and starts asking him for picks. It was like UC Davis or whoever they were playing. And it like grabbed my ear, and I was like, damn, they're really cooking up a bet here. So naturally I had to get involved. At that point, if it's everybody's talking about it, like, I got to see what's up. So I did. It's funny to talk to random people that you may never see again in your life. But for that one moment, his groomsmen were like, we're putting in a 12-teamer because you mentioned it. And, I'm a couple seats away, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going in there. I'm going to go ask. And so I'm looking at these plays, and I'm trying to, like, get one, line by line, get every play. 12 legs. It was a bunch of college basketball. Like, it was all over the place. And frankly, when you're doing things like this, everyone who bets actually knows that those parlays hardly ever hit, almost 0% hit rate. So instead of like going line by line, we did the like iPhone bump airdrop transfer thing, and I got the slip. And without hesitation, I just put $20 on it because why the hell not? And it was $20 to win, I think like 15,000. It was an outrageous parlay, something absolutely crazy. But what are you going to do? You're going to be the only person at the wedding who actually cares about betting and knows what they're doing to not put it in. And then you see on the groom's Instagram, or see through a friend, hear through the grapevine that this magical 12-leg parlay on this guy's wedding day hits. I'm not missing the boat on that. So of course I put it in, and of course it lost. But that's besides the point, because a really, really fun wedding to attend. That was a really cool moment for me, just being the DGen that I am. Seeing other DGens in the wild was absolutely awesome. So money well spent, in my opinion. $20 is what it is. Congrats to the bride and the groom. And I happen to know that they're on a trip to Vegas. So very much good luck while they're there. Maybe a top 5 wedding I've ever been to, actually. Really, really fun and really great people. So story time is over. Let's get to what you guys came here for. I got some picks coming up. I got some game previews. But before we do that, we got to talk about the coin disrespecter of the week. And this one pains me a little bit. This one pains me a little bit because I am a very big fan of one Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers. For the longest time, I thought he was one of the more elite, talents in the league. And I think he still is. He can run, he can catch, he's tough. But my man, just a bad week for Deebo. So this week's coin disrespecter is none other than Deebo Samuel. And that is because he started the week saying he needed more targets. He's open. He wants the ball. Very important narratives as a wide receiver. This is not the first time people have done this. This is certainly not going to be the last time. And actually, on his own team, George Kittle did it a few weeks back and absolutely balled. So no excuse here. 3 catches for 16 yards with some bad drops. Ain't it? And I love Deebo Samuel more than the average fan, I guess. Watched receiver. There's a lot to like about him, but I don't know if he's washed. I think that's unfair. He just had an awful game, especially when you parlay that with complaining in the media. You absolutely cannot play like that. And the one drop definitely was going to get close to a touchdown, could have changed the game for the Niners. They've had a lot of issues this year. I mean, they didn't have any issue beating the hell out of the Bears, but, they didn't look great. And a lot of fantasy owners, including myself, definitely feeling the pressure. It's playoff time, and you can't have a player of his caliber playing like that. So as much as it hurts me, Deebo Samuel, you are the coin disrespecter of the week. And we flip this story completely to the opposite side. For the person who wins the Respect Coin Award this week, it's A.J. Brown. It's A.J. Brown. There's no debate. There's no doubt. All of NFL media has been talking about for the last couple weeks is the Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown relationship sour? Do they hate each other? Why hasn't A.J. Brown gotten more targets? It's just all, is the passing game broken? Oh my God. If I had to listen to another interview or hear another radio caller about, these are champagne problems for the Eagles. And I, as an athlete, you understand, like, people are frustrated and they want to get theirs. A.J. Brown had no problem saying, I want more targets. I want the ball because that's going to help us win. And damn it, that's exactly what happened. He had 8 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Cleared all his numbers easy. They hooked up on the touchdown. And he's such a matchup nightmare. He's fast. He's big. He can go up and get it. So he scores a touchdown, and him and Jalen Hurts in the middle of the field, not even in the end zone. They're on like the 20-yard line or the 15. They do the kid and play celebration, which I thought was dope. So that's how you back up the talk, right? Like, Deebo went to the media, started spewing that he wanted the ball more. The ball starts to come to him, and he's dropping it. AJ Brown goes to the media for the last couple of weeks, and everyone in the world is talking about the Eagles, who are 11-2, and is the locker room broken? Can they actually get this done? And the dude just balled. And shout out to Jalen Hurts too. I mean, like, hearing the passing game is broken, but they're winning games with Saquon. It's got to be kind of annoying and frustrating, and I think you saw a little bit of that if you saw the post-game presser. My man sat down with the Kangol hat, chain crazy, diamonds bouncing all over the place. And he was like, so that's what y'all wanted to see, right? Like, the aura is crazy. I was texting with Kev, like, my man is just going nuts. So shout out to AJ Brown. He is our respect coin winner of the week. He definitely deserved that award. After all that talk, man balled. He did his thing. So Debo got to pick it up. AJ Brown did his thing. And now we move on to tonight. It is Monday, and the Bears are somehow still on Monday Night Football. I am surprised they didn't flex it out, but it's 2 games tonight. There's also Raiders and Falcons, so maybe they weren't able to. I don't know. You can hear in my voice that I'm not super excited to watch tonight's game because I don't think it's going to go our way. The Bears are +7 on DraftKings, and just going to tell you off the top as I get into this game, the sharps and the public are aligned. The Bears stink. And I tend to agree with them. 82% of the money and 80% of all public bets are on the Vikings -7. And you probably say, what I usually say is, that's probably a good time to get in on the other side. The public is on it that much. I don't know. I don't trust the Bears at all. It's just like, as soon as you think they're going to do something, they do the complete opposite. So I'm not getting involved on that. And, just to put a bow on it, if you had to guess, 89% of the money and 95% of public bets are on the Vikings money line. So that means pretty much anyone who put in parlays that span the last couple days had Vikings money line as an anchor. If you're putting them in today, that means that most people are having Vikings money line in their parlays as the anchor, because nobody really is giving the Bears a chance to win this game. And usually that's a recipe to kind of zig when other people zag. A lot of people like to fade the public if they know this information. I've watched every single minute of every Bears game this year, I feel like, and it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It is not worth it. But there is something interesting in the total. 73% of the money is on the over 44 points at DraftKings. They scored 57 combined last time out. In an OT game. The Bears made that furious comeback in the fourth quarter. I do think there's opportunity here if you like the over. The number won't move as much because we're so close to game time. If you were looking at this a little earlier, might move a little bit, but I don't think it's going to move too much. You might get a hook in there one way or the other. My lean for tonight's game is over 44. It's more fun to bet the points. The Vikings are a really good story. They have a chance to continue, clawing back in the race for the 1 seed if they win tonight. So the game matters a lot to them. They're going to be playing hard. I think they have adjustments they need to make because the Bears played them pretty tight on the last matchup at Soldier Field. This is going to be a completely different animal for Caleb Williams playing at US Bank Stadium. It's one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. And I got to think, after the first matchup, there was a lot less blitzing from Brian Flores, which I thought was kind of interesting. This feels like the adjustment is going to be heat him up a little more. I mean, the Niners did a pretty good job of that. And obviously Caleb's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Our offensive line has not given him much of a chance, but he also holds the ball a little too long. So all those things wrapped into one, I do think this might get away from the Bears a little bit. And if it doesn't, that is a good thing for the over, because I do think, our defense isn't going to stop them necessarily. They put up a lot of points in the last couple games. They are a little Jekyll Hyde. Sam Darnold has played better lately. So I'm going to plug my nose, take the over, hope for points on both sides, and really just hope that the Bears don't embarrass us on national TV again. I know there's 2 games. I don't know which one Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have, but if it's not Buck and Aikman, I'd kind of be happy about that, because I'm worried about the embarrassment. And I just I don't know. I kind of want the season to be over. At this point, it's a fait accompli. We know it's happening. And, I hope they win a couple games on the way out. But if they don't, that just means a better draft pick. So ain't the end of the world. All the money that I bet on them in the preseason is gone anyway. So we move. On the other side of the city tonight, the Bulls are playing the Raptors in Toronto. So we've been kind of good with Bulls reads. Definitely wanted to get in on some action for that tonight. I'll have some props that I'll discuss a little later. But the Bulls right now are -1.5 favorites on the road against Toronto, and the Sharps just love the Bulls for some reason tonight. 79% of the money is on the Bulls spread, but the public isn't as sure. Only 58% of public bets are on the Bulls tonight, and I think that's for good reason. I think a really fun, trend you could bet is just home underdogs. It's only 1.5, so this is pretty much a coin flip game, but the fact that the Bulls are -1.5 means Vegas thinks that they should win and cover tonight. Like I said, I'm not as sure. 68% of the money is on Bulls money line tonight. So if you're putting in NBA parlays, the Bulls money line will be in a lot of them across the country. And then one more interesting nugget, 76% of the public is on under 240. 240 is the total right now, and it is the largest total on the board. Increasing amount of sharp money coming in, 65% or so, which was up from when I checked last night. So you could see a little movement with the total. Like I said, we're within 10 hours of tip off, so it isn't going to move dramatically unless there's wild injury news, which I'm not aware of. But 240 points is a lot of points, but these two teams don't play a ton of defense, as we've seen, and I think long gone are the days where 125 to 120 is like an outlandish score. This is like happening every night. So my lean for Bulls would be to take the over 240. I think the Sharps are a line that it's going to go. It's starting to get a line that they like the under. I don't see it. I'm going to zag a little bit. So my lean is to bet over 240 points in tonight's Bulls-Raptors matchup, which really just got scheduled after the NBA Cup results. So, there's a little bit of, this is a kind of random night, Monday night. There's not usually a ton of NBA basketball overlapping with two Monday night football games. So who knows? Could be a wacky night in the NBA. I'll lean over if I'm betting the total. Okay. We have gotten to episode number 7, and I'm super pumped. We've got bets for tonight, first Monday episode. So I'll start with the Bulls, and I've got a 4-leg bet that I like for tonight's game. Going to keep it very simple. You'll notice that there's been themes throughout the season, and two of the players on the Bulls I like to pair up the most are Vooch and Josh Giddey. Normally I'm on Vooch's boards, but tonight I'm leaning in a different direction. So for the Bulls legs, I like Vooch to score 15 points, and I like Giddey to dish out 5 assists. Both of those are under their totals, so going a little conservative with a 4-legger. But Vooch should be able to eat against the Raptors. Jakob Poeltl is their center. But I think the way Vooch operates, the way he can kind of pick and pop, and he's going to put some pressure on Jakob Poeltl for sure tonight. So I like that. And Giddey has been an assist machine, as much as I hate that he doesn't play down the stretch in case these things get close. That's a little scary, but he's been clearing 6 assists pretty consistently. I dropped it down to 5 for the sake of this bet. And then on the other side for the Raptors, RJ Barrett has been their best player recently with Scotty Barnes out. Definitely a focal point in the offense. He's been on a trend and a little bit of a heater with threes, so I've got him to have over 1.5 threes tonight. And then going back to Jakob Poeltl, who was one of my favorite players to cover in college, just kind of a boards machine. His rebounds number, I think, was set at 11.5. I dropped it down to 8 to be safe. So those 4 legs, Vooch 15 points, Giddey 5 assists, Barrett 2 threes, Poeltl 8 rebounds, comes to plus 190. And I just want to make sure I say I'm betting this on Hard Rock because I got a little cheese left in the account. I'm either going to be emptying it tonight or I'm going to be withdrawing. So definitely check this 4-leg parlay on other sports books to see if there's better value. And to recap, Vooch 15 points, Giddey 5 assists, RJ Barrett 2 threes, Pirtle 8 rebounds. The sweaty one's going to be RJ. You know, it's always kind of sweaty betting threes, but I like the trend. That's plus 190 on Hard Rock. Definitely line shop and see if you can get a better number. And finally, we move on to the Bears and the Vikings tonight. Like I said, I will not be betting the Bears. I will not be teasing them. I will not be doing anything. I will be watching for points. That's my lean. But for the parlay, another 4-legger, another few bets that I think really all kind of come together nicely. First, I'll start with the Vikings side. Aaron Jones always kills the Bears. For some reason, he loves playing against us from his time with the Packers, and now he's on the Vikings. So 50 rush yards tonight should be pretty easy. I think they'll have a lead. I think that the game script will allow for him to get a ton of carries in this game. So Jones, 50 rush yards. Jordan Addison, 40 receiving yards. I mean, I think I learned my lesson last week. Or last time they played each other. I was all in on Justin Jefferson. And, you know, Jalen Johnson, as bad as this defense has kind of been recently, he is one of the shutdown corners in the NFL. So you can call it a decoy that they use Justin Jefferson. I do think that will be a little different tonight, but that opens up a lot of the field for Jordan Addison, who can play outside. He can play in the slot. So 40 receiving yards should not be an issue. And on the Bears side, Rome Odunze, 25 receiving yards. We've played this a bunch to this point in the season. I do think he's got some really natural chemistry with Caleb Williams. They're homies. They play video games off on their own. So, 25 yards, he can get that all in one catch. I feel pretty good about that. And then to cap it off, DJ Moore, 4 receptions. Another reason why Caleb has had some success this year is, DJ Moore is just hard to guard. He's fast. You can play him in the slot. They use creative options with him. They throw him the swing pass. We need him to get 4 catches to cap this off. So Aaron Jones, 50 rush yards. Jordan Addison, 40 receiving yards. Rome Odunze, 25 receiving yards. And DJ Moore, 4 catches, comes to plus 200 on Hard Rock. And again, these numbers could look very different if you're betting on DraftKings, if you're betting on FanDuel, wherever you're betting. So make sure you're line shopping. Make sure you're getting the best number you can. Like I said, I'm basically either going to win a lot or lose everything from this account and then delete the Hard Rock app until I go back to Florida in a month. So that's what I'm on, those 2 bets. And, as I, kind of sign off for this episode, because it is the lucky number 7 episode, I believe in superstition. I am one of those guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just inform you that I am betting a 10-leg Bulls-Bears Hail Mary parlay tonight. I'm not encouraging you to tail this. I'm actually probably telling you don't even think about it, because the truth is 10-leg parlays hardly ever hit. It's not worth it. If you got, bet within your means. Like I said, I had an extra $10 left after I made my 2 bets above. So I'm putting it right on this. And it's both of the bets that I gave earlier for the Bulls and the Bears combined. So that should come out to 8 legs. Just to rifle them off really quickly, Vooch, 15 points, Giddey, 5 assists, RJ Barrett, 2 threes, Jakob Pirtle, 8 rebounds, Aaron Jones, 50 rush yards, Jordan Addison, 40 receiving yards, Rome Odunze, 25 receiving yards, DJ Moore, 4 catches. And then I'm adding 2 more legs. Because Aaron Jones continues to ball out against us, I'm adding his anytime touchdown. And then Zach LaVine has sneaky been on a rebounding heater. The Trends really like him to grab 4 boards. I wasn't as confident to throw that in the original play, but I'll toss it in for this lucky number 7, 10-leg Hail Mary. So that comes out to 10 legs, and it reaches a 26-1 payout on Hard Rock. Again, please, I will reiterate, I do not think this is going to hit. This is a last-minute Hail Mary with $10 left in my account. This is not me encouraging you to tail this. This is just me informing you that this is what I'm doing. I am not one to give out massive 10-leg parlays and tell you that they're hitting. It's probably not hitting. So now that you know that, why not us? It's episode 7. And us, by us, I mean me. I'm the crazy person who is just going to take this swing. So I like those 2 plays separately. Add Aaron Jones touchdown. Add Zach LaVine 4 boards. You get a 26-1 payout. I'm not encouraging you to bet this. Tail at your own risk. If it hits, I will be screaming and running around my house tonight. So appreciate everyone who's listening. We've got a bunch of bets in. Stay tuned to my socials. Stay tuned to CHSN socials. We'll have some coverage of these games tonight, but really, really excited to see what we can do tonight. Hopefully we can cash one or both or all. It's possible. It's not plausible, but it's possible. So I'm MB. Great getting on here for the 7th time. It's episode lucky number 7. And let's see if we can wheel home some winners tonight on a Monday night and start the week off right. So get the bets in and make sure, as always, you're respecting coin. Unlike Deebo Samuel, gotta be better. Peace, y'all.